Gopijana Ballabha Girivanadhari Gopijana Ballabha Girivanadhari Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivanadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivanadhari Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Astottara Srimad ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Brajabhumi Brindabandam Ki Sridham Mayapur Ki Gangamaya Ki Yamunamaya Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Gaur Pramanandi. All glories to the sum of the devotees. All glories to the sum of the devotees. All glories to the sum of the devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswati Vyasa Tato Jayam Udirayat Nasta Preshu Abadeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Babaji Naishtiki. We're reading from the great work Srimad Bhagavat Purana, Canto 3, Chapter 1, Text 44. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya karmāṇi akartur grahaṇāya puṁsām nanu anyathā rhati deha-yogaṁ paro guṇānām uta karma-tantram ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya karmāṇy akartur grahaṇāya puṁsām nanv anyathā rhati deha-yogam paro guṇānām karma-tantram ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya karmāṇy akartur grahaṇāya puṁsām nanv anyathā rhati deha-yogam paro guṇānām karma-tantram ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya karmāṇy akartur grahaṇāya puṁsām nanv anyathā rhati deha-yogam paro guṇānām karma-tantram ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya karmāṇy akartur grahaṇāya puṁsām nanv anyathā rhati deha-yogam paro guṇānām karma-tantram ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya karmāṇi akartur grahaṇāya puṁsām nanv anyathā deha-yogam paro guṇānām karma-tantram. Anyone else? Ladies? Ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya karmāṇi akartur grahaṇāya puṁsām nanv rhati deha-yogam paro guṇānām karma-tantram. Anyone else? Ajasya janmotpatha-nāśanāya karmāṇi akartur grahaṇāya puṁsām nanv rhati deha-yogam paro guṇānām karma-tantram. Please repeat. Ajasya, of the unborn. Janma, appearance. Utpatha-nāśanāya, for the sake of annihilating the upstarts. Karmāṇi, works. Akartuḥ, of one who has nothing to do. Grahaṇāya, to take up. Puṁsām, of all persons. Anyathā, otherwise. Who, arhati, may deserve. Deha-yogam, contact of the body. Paraḥ, transcendental. Guṇānām, of the three modes of nature. What to speak of. Karma-tantram, the law of action and reaction. The appearance of the Lord is manifested for the annihilation of the upstarts. His activities are transcendental and are enacted for the understanding of all persons. Otherwise, since the Lord is transcendental to all material modes, what purpose could he serve by coming to earth? Please repeat. The appearance of the Lord is manifested for the annihilation of the upstarts. His activities are transcendental and are enacted for the understanding of all persons. Otherwise, since the Lord is transcendental to all material modes, what purpose could he serve by coming to earth? Ishvara Paramakrishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha, Brahma Samhita 5.1. The form of the Lord is eternal, blissful, and all-knowing. His so-called birth is therefore an appearance only, like the birth of the sun on the horizon. His birth does not, like that of the living entities, take place under the influence of material nature and the bondage of the reactions of past deeds. His works and activities are independent pastimes and are not subject to the reactions of material nature. In Bhagavad Gita 4:14, it is said, Namam karmāṇi limpanti name karma pralaya spriha iti mam yo bijanati karma bir nasa badhyate. The law of karma enacted by the Supreme Lord for the living entities cannot be applicable to him, nor has the Lord any desire to improve himself by activities like those of ordinary living beings. Ordinary living beings work for the improvement of their conditional lives, but the Lord is already full of all opulences, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. Why should he desire improvement? No one can excel him in any opulence, and therefore the desire for improvement is absolutely useless for him. One should always discriminate between the activities of the Lord and those of ordinary living entities. Thus one may come to the right conclusion regarding the Lord's transcendental position. One who can come to the conclusion of the Lord's transcendence can become a devotee of the Lord and can at once be freed from all reactions of past deeds. It is said, karmāṇi nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. The Lord minimizes or nullifies the reactionary influence of the devotee's past deeds. Brahma Samhita 5:54. The activities of the Lord are to be accepted and relished by all living entities. His activities are to attract the ordinary man towards the Lord. The Lord always acts in favor of the devotees, and therefore ordinary men who are fruitive workers, fruitive actors, or seekers of salvation may be attracted to the Lord when he acts as protector of the devotees. The fruitive actors can attain their goals by devotional service, and the salvationists can also attain their goal in life by devotional service to the Lord. The devotees do not want the fruitive results of their work, nor do they want any kind of salvation. They relish the glorious superhuman activities of the Lord, such as his lifting Govardhan Hill and his killing the demon Putana in infancy. His activities are enacted to attract all kinds of men, karmis, jnanis, and bhaktas. Because he's transcendental to all laws of karma, there is no possibility of his accepting a form of maya as is forced on the ordinary living entities who are born, who are bound by the actions and reactions of their own deeds. The secondary purpose of his appearance is to annihilate the upstart asuras and to stop the nonsense of atheistic propaganda by less intelligent persons. By the Lord's causeless mercy, the asuras who were killed personally by the personality of Godhead get salvation. The meaningful appearance of the Lord is always distinct from ordinary birth. Even the pure devotees have no connection with the material body, and certainly the Lord, who appears as he is in his Satchit Ananda form, is not limited by a material form. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gina Gina Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Gina Tasmai Shri Guravoy Namaha. So here we have Vidura and Maitreya discussing the nature of the Lord and his devotees and the dynamics between the two, and the reason for his appearing in the material world. Nanavataram akartur bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samavat paramapumanyo govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. So the Lord's incarnations appear just like waves on an ocean, there are innumerable waves on the ocean. So Krishna and his incarnations, they appear, of course we read in the Gita, to annihilate the demons and protect the devotees. Vedavyasa, the author of all the Puranas and Mahabharata and other literatures, the 4 Vedas, he says, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, Indrari Vyakulam Lokam. That the Lord appears to protect the demigods or the devotees. And ete chamsa kala puṁsām Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, Indrari Vyakulam Lokam, Mridyanti Yuge Yuge, millennium after millennium. So Sanatana Goswami was speaking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kashi, in Prayag, and he was describing, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is empowering the Goswamis to elaborate on the Vedic literatures and provide supplementaries to the Vedic literatures. So Sanatana Goswami was saying that the Lord appears in Kali Yuga in a yellowish form. And there are various characteristics which can corroborate the incarnation of the Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hearing this, he remains silent, because the Lord never comes to this planet and claims to be an incarnation of God. By his activities and his wonderful, as Prabhupada says here, superhuman accomplishments, such as lifting Govardhan Hill or killing great demons like Putana and others, it's gradually revealed that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wouldn't admit to being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but we know from scriptures, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishna, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yagyai Sankirtane Prayir Yajanti Shumedasha, that he has appeared here in Sridhar Mayapur. It's been corroborated by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji, when they discovered the appearance, the janmastan of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Jagannath Das Babaji jumped out of the basket. He was 120 years old, and he started, you're saying, Ita Janmastan, this is the birthplace of the Lord. So the Lord, out of his compassion, of course, appears. And also we know that when the adharmis or the asuras, as we experience now, the chaotic system in human civilization, where there is no Brahminical culture, no protection of cows. In fact, the opposite is going on. Etam justam avastabhya nastalpamulpabudaya prabhavanti ugra karmana. So in today's society, all over the world, everyone is imitating the West, and ugra karma means industrialization, materialistic knowledge, where they say, asatyam apratishtam te jagadahuranishwaram, that this world is temporary. There's no need. Life is temporary. Why should you worry about God? Why should you consider God? There's no God. Aparasparam sambhutim kamanyat kamahoy to come. Simply gratify your senses and try to enjoy. This reminds us of some big demon like Hiranyakashipu, who was so much against Lord Vishnu. He hated Lord Vishnu for killing his brother Hiranyaksha. And he was so powerful that all the demigods went into hiding in the entire universe, not just this particular area of the universe, but throughout the entire 14 systems, planetary systems. Hiranyakashipu was dominating the entire world. And he stopped, it says he stopped the performance of yagyas and ritualistic activities. He set fire to the ashrams of the sages in the forest. He stopped the protection of cows, and so on and so forth. So this is very characteristic of the demoniac class of man. And Krishna says, Namam duskritina mudha. So they are known as duskritinas. They may have some material merits. Like, yeah, look at us, we have rocket power. We're going to the moon, although they didn't go to the moon. But they're very proud, Srila Prabhupada says, of their material accomplishments. Look at medical science. But still, they all have to face death. Dukkhalayam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanas samsiddhim paramam giti. This material world is full of birth, death, old age, and disease. And in spite of all their great so-called accomplishments, so-called advanced civilization, we see, as Prabhupada says here, there's so much chaos in our society today. The moral fabric of society is lacking. Asuchi vrata, they are very unclean in their habits. Pravittim cha, nivrittim cha, jananur, vidur asura, nasochum napicha sahanati, nasatyam teshu vidyate. Krishna tells Arjuna that they don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done. What is moral and what is nivriti, what is to be avoided. They don't know these things. They're simply pursuing more and more sense gratification. Nunam pramata kurite vikarma yad indriya pritya aprinoti. They're simply pursuing more and more how to exploit this world. They claim proprietorship over the world, right? As is stated, janasya mohoya mahamameti, puṁsām striyo maitani bhavametam. You're simply trying to enjoy more and more Hollywood, Bollywood. This is going on. So Krishna came as Ram, and he killed Ravana, who was taking gold from Brazil, Prabhupada says, building a city of gold and trying to build a staircase to heaven. You see, so now they're trying to go to the higher planets. But Prahlad Maharaj says, Paravavas tavada bodhajato yavanna jigyasata atmatadvam. They will meet with defeat. They will meet with defeat. And Prahlad also said, Puna puna charvata charvananam. Simply history repeats itself again and again, chewing the chewed. We had the various empires, Genghis Khan, the Roman Empire, the British Empire. One time Prabhupada was saying that now they used to say the sun never sets on the British Empire. Prabhupada once said, now the sun never rises on the British Empire. So like that, they're simply trying again and again to exploit this material world, born into illusion, overwhelmed by the dualities of desire and hate. So Krishna, out of his compassion, he comes, and we see that he was very unfavorable towards the Kauravas and very favorable towards his devotees, the Pandavas. Arjuna is known as his very good friend. He is in Dasyaras, in servant mood, and Sakyaras, mood of a friend. Although he understood eventually on the battlefield of Kurukshetra that Krishna was God. Before that, he was just having this friendship relationship with Lord Krishna. But when Krishna, in the 11th chapter, we read that he revealed to Arjuna his entire Vishvarup, his universal form, with all gods, demigods, demons, all various creatures, yakshas, apsaras, all various types of beings all over this universe. And then he apologized. Please forgive me if I was ever familiar with you, lying in bed joking, sitting around joking, running through the forest, hunting, and so on. So the Lord is known as Bhaktavatsal. He is the property of his devotees who are full of bhakti. The goal of human life, the Lord wants us, is hankering for us to go back to him, to develop and awaken this dormant prema that we have. Everyone's talking and writing books about prema and love, romance, adventures. But in this material world, these types of relationships and this aspiration to have the perfect love is always met with some disappointment. Therefore, we have to learn the science of Bhakti Yoga, given to us by Rupa Goswami, who was empowered by the Lord. Avesha means when the Lord enters someone's heart, they become empowered. Lord Brahma, he became empowered, Shaktavesha avatar, to create all the various species of life. Krishna says, Sarva Yonishu Kunteya Murteya. But he always uses his devotee to do the work. So he used Arjuna to destroy the entire ward of kings, the entire population of the kingly order, who were developing demoniac qualities. They were becoming overwhelmed by Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, as Srila Prabhupada said when he arrived in Boston, that this entire civilization is simply under the qualities of Rajagun and Tamagun, very little Sattvagun. And in the Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Lobha pravritim arambha karmana ashama spriha, that in the mode of passion, people are full of greed, very materialistic, trying to get more and more, completely absorbed in the material body. Oh, I am this body, I am the proprietor. What to speak of the mode of ignorance, where there is anger, hate, violence, all these things that we see manifesting today. This is all influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. So the Lord, he appears and he is apapa vidham. He's not touched by any sinful act. Even they say, oh, look at Krishna, he was dancing in the forest with married women, young girls. Or look at him, how can God kill so many 600 million warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? How could God do that? What kind of God is he? They have all these excuses. Name prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavitaha mudoyam nabijanati. They're mudha, they have no brain. And they're covered by apohanam, by ignorance, by the influence of the mode of ignorance. They're so covered that they can justify atheism by saying, well, if God exists, why does he allow wars? Why does he allow cancer? Why does he allow AIDS? That's not a good God. But they don't understand that we're all born with free will, right? And doimo purusha loko dwaram nasham atmana doimo purusho loke. The living entities are shara and akshara. They're conditioned and not conditioned. The living entities in the spiritual world, which is Tripada Vibhuti, in the spiritual Vaikuntha planets, they're never conditioned by these modes. But in the Ekapad Vibhuti, in this corner of Krishna's creation, there is this material world full of darkness, and the living entities are born into illusion. We're influenced by the Lord's external energy, the Mahamaya, Mamamaya Duratyaya, and they're struggling with life through so many births. Purusho prakriti stohi bhunkte prakriti sadgunam. Karanam guna sangosya sadasa joni janmesu. So many different species of life we have gone through. 84 lakhs of species of life. So Krishna, out of his compassion, comes and he clears the way. He empowers Arjuna and the Pandavas to destroy the demoniac kings like Bhaumasura, Jarasandha, Kansa, Salva, all these demoniac kings were Shishupal, even his brother-in-law, Rukmi. They're all very demonic. They have some envy toward, basically it boils down to envy towards the Lord. Why is the living entity envious? Because he wants to be the Lord. He wants to enjoy unlimitedly, but he has no capacity to do that. Because, okay, you want to enjoy? Here, try and enjoy. And so Arjuna is used as his instrument, Savyasachin, to destroy the influence of the demoniac kings, and dispose of them. Of course, anyone who sees Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they get a higher birth, or they get liberation, as Prabhupada says here. When Krishna kills the demons, Putana, and other demons, that they all get salvation. Of course, Rupa Goswami writes that the devotee of the Lord, he doesn't even care about salvation. He doesn't care about any material gain. This is the beginning of Raga Bhakti, Rati Bhakti. When one is so attached to Krishna, beginning from Shantaras and then moving into Dasyaras, Sakyaras, these witches within the heart, the two witches, karma kanda, desire to enjoy something in this world, material pleasure, and jnana kanda, the witch of trying to get some moksha, some kind of liberation from this place. Klesho dikatarastesham avyakta shakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukam deha-vadbhira vapyate. Krishna tells Arjuna that this path of impersonalism, where one tries to become liberated from birth and death, from all the suffering, he said it's full of kleshas, it's full of problems. Trying to worship this impersonal, merge into Krishna, be one with God. And it's very temporary because the soul is inherently active. It inherently wants to serve. The nature of the soul is to serve. So you want to serve Maya or God, Krishna. So, avyaktahi gatir dukam, this path is very, very difficult, very problematic. We see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he met Prakashananda Saraswati in Prayag, and 60,000 impersonalist disciples. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with God himself, is so humble that he was sitting where they washed their feet. And of course, Prakashananda Saraswati, he was very critical of Vaishnavas. In fact, in Prayag, there were very few Vaishnavas. It's a place of impersonalism. Tapa Mishra was there, Chandrasekhar was there, devotees of the Lord. Otherwise, the place was overwhelmed with impersonalism, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, being the most patita pavana, he wanted to deliver these impersonalists to the entering into the understanding of pure devotional service. So gradually, we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defeated and attracted Prakashananda Saraswati and his 60,000 disciples onto the path of devotional service. The four Kumaras were also in this impersonal idea of the absolute truth, but when they smelt the tulsi leaves of the lotus feet of the Lord, they became devotees of the Lord. So basically, Maya Veshamanoyamam Nitya Yukta Upashate Shraddhavan Paryopetas Teme Yukta Tamo Mataha. Krishna tells Arjuna that one who invests all his faith in me, always thinking of me. What does that mean, to think of Krishna? Krishna tells Arjuna in many places in the Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhava mad bhakto, think of me. You can't think of someone unless you have affection for them. So when we develop this attraction to the Lord, this affection for the Supreme Lord, that is raga bhakti. That is some progressive stage from Vedic bhakti. In Vedic bhakti, we're practicing a little mechanically. We have to force ourselves to get up at 3:30 and come for Mangal Arati. The chanting of japa is a little bit, there's still some offenses being conducted or practiced while chanting the holy name. Namabas, it's almost pure, but not quite. So as we endeavor to please the great acharyas and the spiritual master, we come to this level where the Lord appears within our consciousness, appears within our mind. That is the beginning of pure devotional service. That is what we're aspiring for, according to Rupa Goswami. The second stage of sadhana bhakti, raga bhakti, where one is eager, samutkanta, very eager to chant the holy name of the Lord, where the Lord is dancing on our tongue and we can taste the nectar of the Lord's lotus feet. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say, this is the only payment I want is the taste for the holy name, the prema, the love for the holy name, which is non-different from Krishna. So the Lord, when he says, Manmana bhavamad bhakto, madhyaji mam namaskuru, think of me. Why do devotees want to think of Krishna? Because there's some emotional there. There's some, the love for Krishna is unfolding. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena. This is the process which is being given to us by the great acharyas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he appeared in this area, and he had to revive the whole bhakti movement, which had become degraded over the generations. People didn't even know where the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. They thought it was across the river, Navadvip. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he did so much research. He's an empowered Shaktavish. He's empowered by the Lord, as was Narottam Das Thakur, as were the six Goswamis, as A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and his spiritual master. So this is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He's making us so fortunate that he's come in the age of Kali. Kali dosha nide rajani, the ocean of doshas. The ocean of dosha, the ocean of faults. And he's giving and investing all his shaktis, nam namakari bahudani jasharva shaktis, investing all his potencies in the holy name. This is the practice in this Kali Yuga. And we're so fortunate that we ourselves are being given this bhakti, prema bhakti, mercifully so. As we know, the Panchatattva, they would dance and chant throughout Nadia and drown everyone in love of God. Even the atheistic people were drowned in love for Krishna. This is the mercy of our Yuga avatar, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that he doesn't consider whether you're fit or unfit to receive the mercy. He's giving it freely. One time, Brahmananda asked Srila Prabhupada, what is causeless mercy? And Prabhupada took his cane and he was poking it in his stomach and saying, this is causeless mercy. Take it, take it, take it. No, I don't want it. Yeah. We're so conditioned that I don't want the mercy. It was Hare Krishna. So it's, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, it's a thankless task. Trying to deliver the souls is a thankless task. Even Prahlad Maharaj, his father tried to kill him, tried to murder him simply because he was teaching the most pristine nectarine path for human beings, right? The most nectarine path is savai puṁsām paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshajaya haitukiya pratiyata. The pure devotional service is the only pleasure that one can find anywhere. Is pure, to come to a place of pure devotional service. And Prahlad was taking so many risks. And what did they do? Oh, no. Hiranyakashipu is trying to kill him in so many ways. So devotees of the Lord, they undergo all types of risks because they're so devoted to the Supreme Lord. They're so grateful to the Lord, to Krishna. They'll do anything to please him. One time Yamuna was on a train with Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada was sitting and suddenly said, I really like to have some nice white fluffy rice. And they were on a train. They didn't have any pots and pans. So Yamuna went to the conductor and said, I need a stove, I need a kitchen. And of course, what a kind of an upstart are you? This is a government train. What do you think this is? Don't be so presumptuous. And Yamuna said, no, my spiritual master, he wants some nice fluffy white rice. I have to make it for him. Well, I might as well just jump off the train while it's moving if I can't please my spiritual master. Then the conductor went, no. And so he gave her facilities to cook some nice, fluffy white rice for Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was sitting, and Yamuna brought this plate of rice to him, and he's, thank you very much. So like that, Prabhupada, when people criticize Prabhupada's god brothers or other so-called, Vedic people would criticize Prabhupada disciples because there were Malechas and Yavanas, right? And they didn't have all their cultural, requirements together, and they might criticize, probably yes, but they've given their life to me. They've dedicated their lives to me. That's what Prabhupada would say. And Malati, she used to be chastised by Srila Prabhupada. She was cooking for Prabhupada here at the kutir, Prabhupada's kutir. At one time, Prabhupada's godbrothers came to visit him, and they were sitting in the kutir. And Malati, she would cover her head and bring the prasadam that she was preparing. And Prabhupada said, this is my disciple Malati. He said, she will do anything for me. She will even slice her neck just for me, and like that. Although he would chastise her many times in his god brothers, he was saying, she will do anything for me. She'll even cut her neck for me. Like that. So this was the dedication that Srila Prabhupada inspired by his great love for Krishna, his great prema, to spread this movement throughout the world. And Srila Prabhupada writes a letter where he says, compared to the British Empire, we are far greater. He said, the British Empire only had a few colonies here and there, but we're spread all over this planet. The British weren't in Russia and different places, but we see today that Prabhupada's empire is spreading throughout the world by the desire, the powerful desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the gist of this particular purport and verse is that the Lord comes, as we know, he arranges the destruction of the demons, but he also is here to have reciprocation with his devotees in various ways. And in this way, he reveals himself gradually to his devotees so that they can wrap up their lives in this material world and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada used to say, why not do it in one lifetime? He said, simply practice this simple process, and I guarantee you, if you follow the principles and chant your 16 rounds, I give my guarantee that you'll go back home, back to Krishna. and dance with the Lord in Goloka Vrindavan. The Lord is dancing, playing his flute. We hear about these things in the Brahma Samhita. He's having his eternal pastimes with all of his various devotees, and they don't care that he's God, right? In fact, this awe and veneration of understanding that Krishna is God, it tarnishes the pure devotion that one may have, that Mother Yashoda has. Like when Mother Yashoda sees that Krishna is embraced by the Kaliya serpents, Rupa Goswami writes, she goes into complete frenzy, and she's saying, oh, my son, he's in danger. And she starts praying to the trees on the banks of the river as if they're great sages. Please make me some herbs so I can relieve my son of the poisonous effect of Kaliya. Like that, her whole emotion is how to protect her son, although the entire universe is inside of him. Mayata tamidam sarvam jagyata vyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani maite teshu chapyam. Everything is within Krishna, and Krishna is within everything, and yet he's lying in the lap of Mother Yashoda. And he also had pastimes in Shantipur with Mother Sachi, where he had come back from Katwa, and he had taken sannyas, and then they were having a big kirtan in the courtyard of Advaitacharya, and Mother Sachi was brought there, and Lord Chaitanya lay down in her lap and said, you have given me this life, you're my mother, and I owe you everything. And he asked her permission. Can I go and live in Jagannath Puri because I'm sannyasi now? And permission was given. So the Lord has these wonderful, loving pastimes with his devotees. All they care about is how to please Krishna, how to please the Lord, without any consideration. Ahaituki apratiyata, yayatma samprasidati. So we'll end there. Thank you. And if you have some comments from devotees, questions or comments, please feel free to come forward. Question, comment? Oh.
Krishna. Thank you for giving me us a taste of Krishna consciousness.
I don't know if it's working. Oh, okay.
So I said thank you for giving me or us a taste of Krishna consciousness.
Thank you.
So about this liberation, wanting or not wanting, I know that the great souls, they can serve Krishna whether they're in heaven or in hell. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make a difference to them. However, we do have to want to go back home, back to Godhead, first and foremost. Even before we can raise our consciousness enough to say, I want to come back because there's these souls that are, forgetful of Krishna and maybe, take the position that you have representing now. And and in the beginning days, like when Prabhupada was here, like you said, willing to cut the throat, I mean, that was like a real thing. That wasn't, flattery. And however, it seems like a lot of the work, maybe infrastructure, is done, and it seems like, just to my own tiny perception, that we've kind of become not lazy, but I don't really know the word, but we don't have that fervor anymore, of like willing to do anything and everything in order to promote Lord Chaitanya's mission and Srila Prabhupada's desires.
We have to maintain the determination. We become enthusiastic and determined when we try to please the great Acharya, our great Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. When we try to please the Vaishnavas, we have to keep ourselves in the fire. Our enemy is complacency. That is the enemy. Don't you know, I've been in the movement 30 years. This is called Dambo. Dambo means pride. Don't you know? I organized so many temples in ISKCON. Don't you know? I made so many books go out in different languages. And then we become complacent, become proud, which can lead to complacency. Look at what I did. I can just sit back on my laurels now. I did so much. No, Krishna's looking internally. What is the quality of your service? What is the quality of your mentality towards the Vaishnavas? Vaishnav Ninda. Are you being arrogant, Dambo Darpo, conceited, and thinking that these Vaishnavas are meant to serve me? After all, I am a senior devotee. So these are different pitfalls that we have to avoid in order to maintain our enthusiasm, or else we will lose our enthusiasm. The safest place is to embrace the verse the Lord Chaitanya spoke about, Trinadapi Sanichana. Other devotees, they suffer from Tyaga Darpa, Tyaga Dambo. It means, look at me, I've renounced the world. I wear saffron. I observe Chaturmas every year. I don't eat any food that's spicy, and so on. This is called pride about my renunciation, another pitfall in devotional service. These things are delineated by Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha. So we have to be very, very careful. As we know, this mind is chanchala pramana, himana Krishna pramati balavad. It's so full of stubbornness, arrogance. It's restless. We're living with the enemy at every moment. The mind means the ego, it means the intelligence. It can have polluted intelligence, and so on. So in order to maintain enthusiasm, we have to remain, feel ourselves Lord and the straw on the street. Feel ourselves as incompetent. I have no qualification. Who am I? I have no good qualities. What talent do I have? Compared to these great acharyas, what am I? What can I do? I can maybe do a little bit for Srila Prabhupada's movement, is what I have to try and do. We want to serve the Vaishnavas. Tandira charana sevi bhakti sanivas, janame janamai hoy abilas. We want to serve the lotus feet of all the devotees. There was a devotee in Bengal, he ate the remnants of all the Vaishnavas in Bengal, Kalidas, like that. Are we this humble? No, that plate is contaminated. I'm not going to take the remnants. No, he was licking the plates of all the Vaishnavas in Bengal, Kalidas. And eventually Lord Chaitanya benedicted him. No living entity could drink the abhishek of Lord Chaitanya's feet, but Kalidas was allowed to drink 3 times from the wash water of Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu, when he sees humility, he reciprocates. He reciprocates with us, and we can maintain our enthusiasm to keep serving the Lord until our last breath. So don't think, oh, I've been doing this. I'm so talented. I'm a member of Bhaktivedanta Institute. I'm preaching to all the big scientists in the world. I have PhD. I have a big PhD, Pitfalls, dangers, very dangerous to think I'm this qualified, that qualified. And then even Radharani and the gopi, they were proud. And Radharani was, Krishna, can I climb on your shoulder? And Krishna, when he's, okay, you try to climb on it. And then he disappeared, even from Radharani. What to speak of us tiny little mortals. Krishna abandoned the gopis because they were thinking, look at us. Krishna he was dancing with all the girls, but now I have him to myself. And they got proud. Krishna, no. Sevadamba. Sevadamba means proud of my service. I'm proud of my service. Look at how I can cook these preparations for the deities. Who else can do that? Look at the turban I can make. Who else can do that? Very dangerous, very dangerous. So we want to maintain even keel, maintain humility, and always feel oneself without expecting any respect, but offer respect to all. I mean, Shivananda Sena is a great devotee of the Lord, very great devotee, but he offered his obeisances to a dog. These dogs outside, they're all the lowest, poor little, most unfortunate creatures. In one way, they're not unfortunate, but another, they're suffering so much. They're completely neglected, not like the dogs in the West. Shivananda Sena, he was taking care of this dog. And when the dog was not fed, Shivananda Sena got down, offered his obeisances, please forgive me. So Srila Prabhupada said that this dog got the mercy. And ultimately, we know that Lord Chaitanya was feeding the dog green coconut pulp and telling the dog to chant Hare Krishna. Dog went back home, back to Godhead. So by the mercy of Shivananda Sena, the dog went to the spiritual world. So like that, we want to have that mood that even a dog I can offer my respects to. And devotees used to chase the dogs away when Prabhupada brought Brahmananda and Guru Das and the first devotees in Vrindavan. They were chasing the dogs. He said, don't do that. And Prabhupada was feeding the dog from his plate. And he said, you don't know who they are. Like, Maharaj Bharat, he was a great devotee, attained bhava. We haven't even attained ragabha. He attained bhava, and then he got into trouble, got attached to the deer. So like that, we don't know who these personalities are in the holy dham. So Prabhupada was saying, don't you dare kick the dog in Vrindavan. He was telling Guru Das and Brahmananda and Shyamasundar, be careful. Don't mistreat. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
राशि स्थिते भास्करे कृष्ण पक्षे गौर पक्षे आमावस्य तथा प्रतिपा